time to ask. And since Professor Manna mentioned about engineers in core field versus not, I spoke with a lot of students actually during this period. So one thing I would like to know from him and any other panelist per se, that what is actually like the thought process of engineers coming into other disciplines, because this year there are like 31 students in our senior year classes. 16 of them are already like pre-placement offer, but the rest of the 15 who didn't secure a pre-placement offer, they might actually go for other areas of engineering. And also another thing I figured out while talking with the students, that this is actually a gender disparity that happens, and maybe like Sudhanshuda or anyone else can comment on that. There is a good part, like 80% of our female engineers, they actually do not participate in the workforce. Okay. So this is a differently changed scenario, like around 35.2% of engineering graduates are employed in computer programming and consultancy, followed by about 5% in software publishing. So hence around 40% of engineering graduates that are employed in the information technology domain, definitely not pursuing whatever they learned in their 4 years of study. Any comment from any panelist on that?
Vimanda, you want me to react?
Yeah, please, please.
Briefly, at the moment in India, we have 12 lakh engineering seats approved. Nearly 8 lakh students enroll every year. Obvious question is, does the country really need so many graduate engineers? One imbalance that created in the society is to convert every single diploma, giving even ITI awarding institutions into graduate engineering schools. Now, this is for the planners to reply as to why this was done. So engineering essentially teaches how to solve a problem. And as I mentioned earlier, these solutions are never unique. So it is this skill to solve a problem in engineering curriculum helps an individual to carve a good career in the future. So there's no necessity that a mechanical engineering must do only create machines or repair an automobile. The problem-solving capability actually has helped. We have seen someone to become Air Vice Marshal or an entrepreneur, or even create very nice designs of music numbers and so on. So if you go by the employment scope, then the obvious answer is that all engineering institutions must teach only one discipline, and no wonder which discipline I'm referring to. And that too, everybody would like to gravitate towards the NIRF 1 in the country. So obviously, the question is that then if everybody studies computer science and everybody wants to carve a career in AI and ML, then what happens to construction of buildings? Computers are not going to create a building or a road or a dam or a stadium, or not machine. So we need all branches of engineering, like we need beyond engineering all branches of science, humanities, commerce, and so on. What we have to teach today in engineering curriculum is the confidence building measure, so that an individual will not necessarily seek job, but will actually create a solution and create jobs. So I'll stop here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There is one more question that came up with the students, like especially the participation in the workforce. Like for every 100 women engineering graduates that are not participating in the labor force, 87 of them are primarily involved in taking care of domestic duties. So we see that there is a serious disparity, because like of total 1000 graduated engineers, there are approximately 7.6 engineering graduate per 1000 population. And especially for India, although it is not specific to IIEST, this varies a lot. Like say from Pondicherry to Tamil Nadu, that ratio is 35.7 to 25.3, whereas in Ladakh or Mizoram, it's less than 1%, 0.4 to 0.38. Any view, especially since you lead the National Academy of Engineering, how we are going to bridge this gender gap in the engineering scenario of the country. And any other panelists, please comment.
Yeah, quickly.
May I say a few things,
okay.
sir?
Yeah.
Okay, Archana, go ahead.
Actually, there is what
Professor
I
Manna
wanted
will
to
come
bring
back
in.
to you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Somewhere in my presentation, I wanted to bring it for the women. Actually, this is where it's totally untapped, and especially from BH or IAST, whatever you call, there's not a single or woman actually appeared for even exams. And there is a plethora of opportunity in the services, and they are not tapping these sources. This Army, Navy, Air Force, so many engineers are there, but they are from the different state. They're all motivated. They're coming. They're joining, and they're doing the best teamwork basically. I wish this the graduates who are about to be, they should be informed and told by someone that there is an opportunity, plethora of opportunity to enter into this. If they don't like, this not necessarily they have to take a permanent commission. They can take a SSC short service commission and then can come out, and they are doing. They come out, you will be surprised where all they are positioned. If I get an opportunity to college, I will tell them. So this is one of the hint I think of.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's hear from Professor Manna.
Before anything, I wanted to convey to the audience that we are not the only country. In fact, the worldwide, the situation is very similar, including US, Korea, and some other South American, including Japan. I happen to be chair of the GATE's working group on engineering education, in which out of 33 countries in the world who are members of the International Academy, 22 members are participating. And I was very surprised, not a single country anywhere in the world has in their workforce more than 20 or 25%. That's the largest number we could gather. So the gender ratio is very skewed the worldwide, but that doesn't mean that we should be complacent. Now, we cannot change it overnight, and this has happened purely because of the perception. Everybody, moment you talk of engineering, everybody starts thinking possibly about someone needing a big hammer or a heavy hammer to carry on the shoulder or something like that. So, but things are changing. For example, the institution where I'm in today, 30% students are girl students at the undergraduate. Over 50% are girls at the at the doctoral level. So situation is changing and will change. The answer has to be probably pursued by the government or the ones who actually design various avenues, various amenities in the society. So there are safety, security, and other issues. But career opportunity wise, I'm sure more and more girls will join engineering profession. It's just a matter of time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Manna. And now we are going to bring a closer to the session. From the bottom of my heart and also on behalf of Shama Prasad Datta 1967 Civil, I would like to thank every one of you. Orunda has a point. Orunda, please go ahead.
Just quick question. What I feel is that if someone is trained in the college in a particular discipline, and then he or she decides to go into a different branch, in my opinion, it will be highly unlikely that person will excel in his or her career. If the objective is whatever is trained, and we'd like to prepare people who will excel in their own field, then in that case, I feel that they should stick to their original discipline.
Yeah, Orunda, this is actually a mixed bag answer. Professor Manna is smiling. One of his students, his name is Sundar Pichai, who is a metallurgy graduate from IIT Kharagpur and who leads Google now. If you talk about Xi Jinping, the Chinese prime minister, he's actually a chemical engineering graduate who spent between 1975 and 79 studying engineering. So, yeah, it's a mixed bag answer. We can take it for some other day. But
so, Biman, may I just interrupt for 1 second?
Okay, Sudhanshu, please go ahead.
This I beg to disagree with my classmate Arundev only for one reason. I feel in this today's world, at least in my organization, I have seen many people who has come from one discipline and has excelled tremendously well in another discipline. And having said this thing, I would only add to what uh, INE President Indanil has said. I would like to add that whatever you might be, you must be very strong in the basic core engineering, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and etc. I am prepared to use more as a tool which would converge the technology. Rather than that should be without knowing my basic nuts and bolts, I feel will not be anywhere. Be it civil or mechanical or electrical, the basic discipline and metallurgy and materials engineering, that should form the basic core. Thank you.
Thank you very
I
much,
couldn't,
Sudhanshuda. And I just want
yeah,
to
I
like,
couldn't agree more with Sudha.
yeah, just what Tathagata said about like when you become a social service or you're participating in social service politics, etc., you are dealing with people who are not inanimate objects, right? And one of the biggest lacuna after practicing this year is, in fact, my 40th year of masters from B College, 2023 this year. So that probably tells my age. But the thing is, one thing I would say that I do not know how much focus we can have, like maybe not in the purview of formal education. Where we lack is our liberal arts education. We do not understand, and that's the reason why probably so many students they think like going for an MBA, etc., etc. But there are a lot of life skills we understand 1 0, etc., but we lack in that. Anyway, so this is the time for me to
Yeah.
conclude the session. And as I said, on behalf of Shama Prasad Datta, 1967 Civil, who assigned with this responsibility to me, and whenever I am assigned something, the first person to go to is Professor Manna. And as he said during his intro, like he's the person who crafted this agenda, who prepared the publicity material and suggested the panelists just to get a good gathering. And this session is recorded. Hopefully, this will be there for the students. Professor Manos Shanal, the training placement head, Professor Sudipta Mukherjee, Dean of Student Affairs, they were there in this discussion. So I hope they will take it back to the undergraduate students for whom we organize this kind of sessions. And all of us are thankful to the distinguished panelists, starting from Sudhanshuda, Professor Sudhanshu Shekhar Chakraborty, Amit Das, Professor Manna, Shomo, Archon Bhattacharya, Tathagata, and Udayan being such a young, energized candidate, and of course, our chairperson of the board, Mrs. Tejaswini Anantakumar. So with that, I thank.
Vivanda will be failing in our duty. You did mention at the end, I've never seen a chairperson of a board of governors to stay tuned from the very beginning until the end. So from the pool of alumni, we all would expect Madam to take forward the developmental aspects of the B College or
Yeah.
IIEST, and we
Thank you so
rest
much.
all our hope on you, Madam.
It was.
Yes,
No, no, I learned so many things. It was so good. The whole perspective, 360-degree perspective. People of all the age group, from 2018 pass out to 66 pass out. It's wonderful.
Thank you very, very
So,
much, madam. And I'm sure, like, since you are like spending time in the
and
campus, you have seen what is the state of the campus. You are doing a lot of things, but it is as engineers, as students of physics, we always try to see more displacement. So there are a lot of things to come. I'm
yes,
sure the Teachers Association talked with you. And whenever the students get an opportunity, let them speak to you without any faculty advisor present so that you get a chance to listen to their mind. And of course, Sudhanshuda, Tathagata, and all of us are here, um, and we can come back with you with any
and
kinds of like
before
situation that
before
arises. And we
you,
have a fairly distinguished panel of alumni that you see that here. The current director of IISER, Professor Manna, who was a former director of IIT Kanpur, Professor Gautam Biswas, who was a former director of IIT Guwahati, Professor Amitabh Ghosh, who was a former director of IIT Kharagpur. So we have all the skills, leadership, everything, and of course, experience. Just what we need to do is the right force at the right time to get fulfilled our dream. Thank you.
Bimala,
Before you
can I
conclude,
just acknowledge?
I
Can
would like to give
Can I just
a
Deval,
acknowledge?
एक minute, please. Sudhanshu is speaking. Deval, एक minute.
Sorry.
Yeah, I would, before you conclude, I'd like to give a special thanks to Tejaswini ji and to Biman, who has conducted so beautifully, and we spent a real good time for last 2 to 3 hours. Thank you all.
Thank you. Deval, you have a point? Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge the effort that Shapun Shaha, you, Tul, anybody who orchestrated this webinar session, without acknowledging their contribution to orchestrate this whole thing, this wouldn't have been possible. So I just want to acknowledge their contributions here. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much. And those of you who don't know, Dr. Shapun Shaha is our 1988 electrical, who is the engine behind the train, what is running. So he's the driving force, he's the leader, and like he actually, like we spoke 11:30 last night, which is like 8 hours prior to this call, and he's in Pacific time zone, so he woke up at 4:30, probably before that, to make sure that there is no technical glitch, etc. Shapon, we are always indebted.
He acknowledged me around 4:30 also.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.